Hello, everybody. I'm John,
And Justin here.
and we are the Gore
Goblins.
and we're back
Yeah.
talking about movies we like,
Some we don't.
and they're all horror related.
Of course.
And we're back finally in the new year, 2024,
New year, new nightmare.
talking about a movie that came out 30 years ago.
94 when I was born. Yeah.
It's 30 years ago. This movie it just reminds me how much closer I am to 30, which is fine. My 30s will probably be all right. I'm not one of those people that's like, "Oh no, I'm 30. What now?" I was 5 years ago, but not anymore. Not anymore. Now I'm like, I'm ready. Fucking hit me, brother. I'm good to go. So, as previously hinted at, we're talking about New Nightmare. Wes Craven's New Nightmare is the full title, I believe.
Yeah.
Which, after rewatching it, I always thought, oh, it's called Wes Craven's New Nightmare because it's his movie, and yeah, that's part of it. But like, it's also because the movie kind of centers around his new nightmare. So, I wish I had caught that earlier. Also, it's raining. We're recording like right in the middle of a cold front. Very severe thunderstorm is running through. There might be a brief pause at some point in the recording if the power goes out, because my laptop will still be on, but my recording thingy, my what the fuck is this called? I don't remember what it's called. My fucking, the thing I plug my mics into. Bryson would know.
The voice capture box. I don't know.
Yeah, that, whatever.
Yeah.
That's gonna die if the power goes out. So if that happens, I'll probably make some stupid joke about it. But that being said, yeah, we're talking about New Nightmare, and coming at you live from a potential tornado
Awesome.
warning.
And I walked here.
And Justin walked here because he lives relatively close to my house. Doesn't mean we hang out a lot because we work. So that's the nature of being an adult, I guess. But you could probably hear the rain. I would be surprised if you couldn't. It's gonna be something. But we're here. I'm queer, and we're going to talk about New Nightmare. Awesome. Like I said, this movie came out in 1994. It's almost 30 years old. This came about after, I think, after Freddy's Dead came out.
They want more money.
Bobby Shea was like, "Hey, Wes, do you have an idea for something?" And it's funny because what happens in the movie is pretty close to what happened in real life, outside of Wes Craven having nightmares and
Yeah, this might as well be like a movie / kind of documentary.
Because everything that happened in the movie, is pretty much what happened in real life for the most part.
Then the ending is just Heather reading the script.
Yeah, and Heather Langenkamp plays a version of herself, and then she's it's not her family. That'd be kind of a little too meta, I think. But yeah, Heather plays herself. Wes Craven plays himself. Robert Shea plays himself. The producer that calls Heather plays herself. Robert Englund plays himself. John Saxon. They all just it's kind of eerie. I don't know. Like I really like this movie because it feels so like,
yeah,
quote unquote real.
It tripped me out the first time I watched it. I was like, wait, so this is supposed to be in real life? That's fucking crazy. I never knew you could do a movie like that.
So now this isn't technically Freddy Krueger. It is a
weird demon.
Wes Craven explains it himself in the movie. It's a demon that can take, the shape of any form of art. He's like, and the only way to really keep it at bay is to keep making art. And that was the idea, was that this demon kind of attached itself to Freddy Krueger. And,
It's like, yeah, the sequels have been keeping him trapped, but now there's no more, so...
But since Freddy died, like a fucking
Freddy's
Looney Tunes
dead.
character, in the last movie, the demon's like, hey, you know what? Fuck it, we ball. I'm coming out. That being said, I kind of like the design of Freddy. I like his bio glove, his like bio-organic glove. I think that's really cool. And I don't know, the makeup looks a lot better than it did in the last movie.
Yeah.
And he's got that fucking like coat. I don't know. I really like how he looks in this movie.
And his green hat.
It's too bad he doesn't really have like the character, because he doesn't even act like Freddy did in the first movie. because like there's a documentary that came with the Blu-ray set that I think it's called like Freddy's Nightmares or something. I don't fucking know what it's called. It doesn't matter. But you know, they're showing clips of Robert Englund throughout the movies, and like it's kind of crazy how much character Freddy got just from him, and all that character is unfortunately missing for the most part in New Nightmare. I mean, like there's a couple lines here and there. He says bitch a couple times,
but it served a purpose.
But
it wasn't really Freddy.
Yeah, so it's like I don't know. Like it doesn't bug me that much because I know it's not really him. But it's like I guess it's like it's kind of funny how every horror movie has had this happen where it's technically not the killer. You got Corey Cunningham in Halloween.
Yep.
You got fucking whatever the fuck the medic's name was in New Beginning. I don't remember. And then Jason Goes to Hell. And then you have a demon, a literal demon in New Nightmare. But New Nightmare is kind of weird because, again, it's not technically a Nightmare on Elm Street movie. It's just a movie about a demon. Like that's the weird thing, but it gets lumped in because it's part of that universe. But yeah, rewatching it still holds up pretty well. I think it's kind of lacking in terms of like kills and stuff, and a lot of
There's only 5 deaths.
A lot of the like iconic Nightmare on Elm Street stuff isn't really present, but I think it still works because I like that it's so like meta, which shouldn't come as a surprise since I never shut the fuck up about Scream. Which that being said, it's a real shame that they never did this with Scream. They never made it to where, Nev Campbell is just living her life, and then somebody in real life decides to try to stalk her as Ghostface. Maybe that'd be Ghostface. Maybe that'd be a little too real, since Ghostface isn't really a fictional character. Ghostface could be a real thing. I think that's probably why it hasn't happened. And why we just get a bunch of, general meta stuff in that. But don't worry, we'll talk about that soon enough. But in this, it works because Freddy Krueger's not real. And boy, are there a lot of characters that say that to Heather Langenkamp. Freddy Krueger's not real. Freddy Krueger, okay. like, come on. Obviously something's going on. Also, what I noticed is that, one thing I noticed in rewatching it that I don't think I noticed before, and I don't remember if anybody brings attention to it in the movie, but there's a point towards like the last, I want to say 30 minutes of the movie where Heather gets that gray streak in her hair that Nancy has. And I was like, oh, I never really noticed that. That's cool. And I don't think any characters bring any attention to it, right?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I didn't. The closest you get to that is John Saxon playing the role of Nancy's dad for, I don't know,
like
a
the
little
last
bit.
10 minutes of the movie.
For the last 10 minutes, yeah. But yeah, I was like, oh, that's cool. And then, and then a more obvious change is her being in her pajamas that she was in the first movie, I think. Yeah, first movie, yeah. So this was 10 years after the first Nightmare on Elm Street. And I will say, Heather Langenkamp is a much better actress in this movie
very much better
than she was in the first one, and she was a little better in the third one, but she's like actually good in this one, which is good. I'm glad because I like Nancy and I like Heather Langenkamp, so I'm glad she was able to kind of rein it in and bring it home one last time and played Nancy one last time as the movie directly states. But yeah, it's I think it holds up pretty well. Again, it's not violent. It's not like super gory or anything, but I mean, it's good. What do you think, Justin?
It's good.
That's all? That's all you got to say? Just it's
Yeah,
good? I talked for like 5 minutes and all you got is it's good.
I just like how it was different and actually succeeded at being different. Well, depending on who you ask. Because I know there are a lot of people that hate this movie.
Oh, I can't wait to read those negative reviews.
But I just felt like it all worked.
Yeah.
And like, you could see like how Heather was trying to like convince herself that this is not happening, but then how everyone is just kind of acting kind of weird around her, and it's like, Ah,
Yeah,
just,
Robert Englund starts painting the.
painting that fucking nice ass. What was it? Fire or just red?
I think it was it was red, and then there's like that portrait of Freddy
Yeah.
with the claws. So one thing that I've found in watching this, and then rewatching Halloween Ends, and even Rob Zombie's Halloween movies and stuff, is that I think I like it when something shakes up the formula. It doesn't always work 100%, but I still appreciate the effort. So like Rob Zombie's Halloween, I thought, oh, you're gonna humanize Michael. That's stupid, but it wasn't humanizing. It was contextualizing, and it works for that, for that version of Michael. Halloween 2, stupid dream shit aside, I enjoy quite a bit. And then Halloween Ends obviously is vastly different than fucking anything else.
People still can't accept it.
And I didn't at first, but rewatching it, I'm like, oh, okay. I think I can kind of see.
No,
what
it was,
they're
it was
going
just
for.
watching Allison get on the motorcycle that convinced you.
Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it. That'll definitely do it. But and then you have Jason Goes to Hell. And well, technically, no, not even New Beginning. The only different thing about New Beginning is that it's not Jason. There's nothing
Yeah.
else different about it.
The first movie wasn't Jason.
Like it's not like it, so you got not New Nightmare. You got Jason Goes to Hell and Jason X, which Jason X is kind of samey too, but like it's in space. That counts. Fuck you. So, but Jason Goes to Hell is extremely different. It feels like a fucking like I said, a Stuart Gordon movie in spots, and I fucking loved it. But yeah, so I don't know. I think I just like it when something shakes up the formula and it's successful. You know what I mean? And I think New Nightmare is a good. That's why like it's weird because like I don't even really consider it a Nightmare on Elm Street movie because it just kind of feels like just like a movie. I don't know, a movie about an entity that takes the form of a beloved horror character. So I don't know. It's kind of weird that it gets lumped in because it feels so different and so like removed from the franchise. Aside from like I don't know the last 10 minutes when it kind of does a best of for a little bit. But yeah, I like it. I like it a lot, and it's super cool. That being said, I do still like it when franchises kind of do the same thing over and over again if it's fun.
Yeah.
But with Friday the 13th, it just kind of became boring, and I think that's in part due to the censorship.
Uh-huh.
That's a big part of it. That's a big fucking part of it, and that's also why I want to like New Blood more because it has fucking Carrie in it. That's cool. That is cool. Why did the fucking MPA fuck that up? God damn! I mean, it wouldn't have fixed the writing, but it would have at least given me something, And then with Nightmare on Elm Street, part 1's good. I like part 2. Part 3's good. Part 4 is a little weird. Part 5 is, I think, better than part 4, and then part 6 is just, I don't know, man. It's a movie. I still don't really know how I feel about part 6, just because it's like I think it's fun, but I don't think I like it. You know what I mean? But this one I think just works. The little kid is a little bad sometimes, acting wise, or it feels a little corny. I don't know.
Well,
But
like when he tries to make that weird ass voice.
yeah, that
sounds like a fucking duck.
Yeah, it didn't work. But Heather Langenkamp's acting, like I said, is great.
Or when she turns the movie off and he just screams.
And I'm just like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Like, listen, I know, like my top tier for child acting comes from Danny in The Shining, and then the fucking kid that gets his fucking shit ripped apart in Doctor Sleep. So both of those are like top tier. That's where the gold is, and then everything else is just under that. And even Danny in The Shining isn't perfect because he's a fucking kid. Kids suck. I hate kids.
Kid Danielle Harris.
Oh yeah, fuck. She's up there too, obviously. Yeah, from especially in part 4. Um, but yeah, so absolutely. There's not a lot of good child actors, is what I'm saying. There's a lot of them just aren't great. I guess I don't know. Macaulay Culkin's fine in Home Alone, I guess. Uh, Haley Joel Osment's fine in Sixth Sense, but I haven't seen Sixth Sense in a long time, so I couldn't tell you if that still holds up. I'm sure it does. But yeah, so in horror at least, that's top tier shit. You can't really. It's hard to be a good child actor, especially when you have to act scared. And that's why Danielle Harris was so good, is because I believed every fucking second of her screaming her fucking lungs out. But yeah, so you know, a little kid's a little spotty in this. It's child actors, it's just how they are sometimes. Not the worst, but definitely not the best. Um, but yeah, everybody else is pretty good in it, I think. Uh, Robert England is Robert England. I don't know. He's just a really good actor. I'm not. I don't think he can really do any wrong, especially in a nightmare movie. And then Wes Craven just kind of talks, but that's okay. He's Wes Craven. I'll forgive it. And Wes Craven's in he usually cameos in most of his movies. I think. I feel like it. I know he cameos in Scream, the first one at least. I want to say he does in another one, but I don't remember. At least he does at least like a voice cameo, I think. It doesn't matter. We'll talk about it. So we'll get to that. But yeah, New Nightmare. If you couldn't tell, it's basically it's very it feels like Justin said half documentary, but it starts out with a nightmare sequence because of course it does, where it's kind of like the first movie where the glove is being made, but it's like a twist on it.
It's a movie prop now.
It's a movie prop that cuts off a fake hand, and then Wes Craven's like, fucking hold it, and then the movie prop starts moving. It kills two people. It kills the two special effects guys.
Yeah,
Who I think are real special effects guys, if I remember right.
they were.
And it kills them. And then, Heather wakes up
To an earthquake.
to an earthquake, which is fucking crazy.
Because it was real.
Yeah. And so her husband, Chase, who runs an effects studio called Cut to the Chase, which I think is funny. That's a good usage of that.
That's why he
name.
dies, because they were like, "Oh, you think you're clever? Okay."
Yeah, Justin himself killed him. He was barely born, or he wasn't born yet, and he himself killed him, because he's like, "Oh, what do you think, huh?" But yeah, so he cuts his fingers on the blade in the dream, and then he's got a cut on his fingers in real life. And Heather's like, "What the fuck?"
Fuck.
See, but for me, one of the things that kind of bugged me is that Heather is only on edge because of the earthquakes and her stalker. I don't know why she would be freaking out about Freddy Krueger though, but I think it might be implied that the stalker is Freddy Krueger, maybe. I don't know. It doesn't really, there's not really a resolution to that plot line, I don't think.
I always just thought it was that she was trying to distance herself from it so it wouldn't impact little kid Dylan.
Well, yeah,
Dylan, whatever the fuck his name was.
That's a good point. It's Dylan. That's a good point to bring up.
But then
because
the
that is
stalker
true.
thing, and when he calls, he tries to talk like Freddy, so if she keeps thinking of Freddy, she's going to keep thinking of that fucking
That's
bullshit
fair.
going on.
Okay, see, that's why you're here. So so we can figure this shit out. So that makes sense. Because she does mention a couple times that I'm not gonna let my kid watch my movies during the talk show, which is what she's getting ready for at the beginning of the movie. She's getting ready for some talk show appearance, and then there's another earthquake a little bit. The stalker calls, and then the limo guy shows up, and he's really creepy. And he's like, "Hey, I seen you in them movies, right? Them fucking nightmare movies, huh?" And then she's like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, that girl gets ripped apart and she's dragged across the ceiling. That's awesome. And I was like, who is this guy? Me?
The first one was the best.
Yeah, the first one was the best. All the sequels suck. And it's like, well, not all of them. I mean, 2 and 3 are pretty good. And then 5 is a little better than 4. But, like, you know, they're not all bad. I don't know. You can do better than that. But, yeah, so then... yeah, she shows up. She shows up late because of all the shit. There's a lot of shit that happens, like, within the first, like, 5 minutes, I feel like. Because Dylan immediately starts, like, being weird. That's the other thing, is Dylan kind of feels like a vessel for this demon, but then, like, nothing really comes of that.
Yeah.
Outside of the demon using it to kind of torment Heather. So, I feel like I don't know.
Maybe it's because he kept making Dylan play the movies, so
yeah, okay.
Freddy was still in, and that's why Robert starts painting shit and all that.
See,
crap.
it's not. This isn't me like criticizing the movie. I still like the movie, but there are some things
just
that
confusing.
Make me go, what were they trying to do with that? You know what I mean? So, yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, she shows up, and you know the fucking talk show host doesn't let her answer a fucking question. He keeps cutting her off. It's like listening to me and you talk, where I keep cutting you off. He just keeps cutting her off. He'll like ask a question, she'll start to answer, he'll be like, "Oh, and then what about the?" And I'm just like, "Dude, shut the fuck up! Like, let her talk." Jesus. And then he's eventually like, "Well, we got a surprise for you. We think you'll love it." And then Robert Englund in full Freddy makeup tears through the screen behind her, and
they play a talk show version of the theme song.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
And Freddy does the "You're all my children."
Yeah,
now.
he did. When he said that, I was like, "Hey, yeah, from the movie Nobody Likes, awesome." I'm like, that was specifically for me. Wes Craven did that shit for me, or Robert did that shit for me, because I'm pretty sure he ad-libbed that. But yeah, he. So then I kind of wish we had gotten extra talk show footage of Robert Englund sitting in full makeup next to Nancy talking to her and shit.
Heather.
Yeah, shut up.
See, now that you can't...
Shut up.
Now that you can actually call her Heather, you don't want to. Because when you did the other movies, you kept calling her Heather.
I kept calling her Heather.
And now she's just Nancy to you.
I kept calling her Heather because I was thinking about New Nightmare at the time. And now I keep calling her fucking Nancy because I'm thinking about the old movies now. So yeah, then Heather gets a call from a producer after talking to Robert about like just general shit, and she gets a call from the producer, and Bobby Shea wants to meet with you, and Bobby Shea's like, "Hey, I got something for you. We want you to come back."
P. Nancy one last time.
Yeah, what did he say? He's like, who better to resurrect Freddy than the one that put him down the first time or whatever, and then she's like, "No, I got other things going on." And then like she makes the connection that Robert Shea's experiencing the same weird shit that she is, and it's like I guess it's just like everybody that's connected to the universe in one way or another is affected by.
That he was like, "Well, your husband's already working on it."
And she was like, "What?" She was, and that I guess that could explain the dream too, because if her husband's already working on it, I guess that makes sense. And yeah, it's that biomechanical glove, that fucking cool ass glove. I really like that glove, but yeah. And then after that, some shit happens with Dylan, I think. And
isn't that when he stands on top of the fucking rocket slide and tries to jump off?
I feel like that's after Chase dies. Yeah, because I think Dylan has like a seizure, and then she's like, "Oh, fucking come home. He's acting crazy." And then he's like, "Oh, I'm working." And then he makes some excuse to go home, and then he gets got because I don't know, Freddy does some fuck shit to him, and he dies. He cuts his chest. He like cuts his chest down to his stomach,
and then he crashes.
And they're like, "You don't want to see the body." There's a really cool dolly zoom shot that I like when she sees that it's cops behind the door, because like she sees through the glass that it's like cops, and then the dolly zoom happens, and I'm like, that's cool. I like that shot. I always like that effect in movies, like in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. when Kurt Russell's like, yeah, I hate that I had to put that tumor in her brain, and then Star-Lord's just like, what? Like I love shots like that. There's one in Goodfellas too that's really good. I just really like that stuff. I don't know, it's a neat little camera trick. There's one in fucking Raging Bull that's good. God damn it. Anyway, so yeah, she gets told that Chase is fucking dead, and then she's like, "Let me see the body," because she had a dream about it happening. So then she goes and looks at the body, and the fucking mortician's just like, "Hey, yeah, I don't want you to see any of this because you don't want to see this." And then she just like pulls the fucking cover off, and she sees the scars, and he's like, "Look, it was a bad wreck." And I'm like, "Yeah, but like, what part of a car would do that?" That's the thing. Is like, I feel like it would have just been like a clean, like, I don't know, his guts would be out or something. It wouldn't be like that.
Oh, we haven't mentioned the MVP of this movie, Rex.
Oh, Rex. Yeah, I forget about Rex a lot of the time.
He's the true hero.
He's supposed to be, what is he? He's like something that
He's a protector.
Dylan says that it protects him from coming from underground or some shit.
It protects him from Freddy or the demon.
Yeah, too bad they didn't have it in their budget to have like an actual dinosaur fight Freddy Krueger.
That would have been fucking awesome.
That would have been cool as shit, because Freddy Krueger fucks it up. he fucking rips it apart towards the end, but like even early on in the movie he cuts it open and then they stitch him up. And Rex is like like, I just imagined Rex just like on the sidelines just like, Jesus fucking Christ, I'm good. Jesus Christ. Like just like barely being held together. Just like, oh my fucking God, that guy's strong. Like, fuck, I'm a dinosaur. What the fuck is happening? But yeah, so, that all happens, and it's cool. He gets stitched up, and there's a part where Dylan yells for Rex that made me laugh.
Yeah, after the babysitter dies.
Rex! And I'm just like, oh, come on, you could have done that better. You could have, you had another one in you. I know you did. But yeah, so Rex is a protector, but so weird shit keeps happening. She calls Robert Englund while he's painting, and he's distracted by what he's doing, and you find out he's drawing Freddy Krueger. So my headcanon is, because you don't see Robert Englund again, you don't see him at any point from that phone call. And Wes Craven's like, yeah, I've been trying to get a hold of him, but he's not answering. Like it's acknowledged that he's just not picking up anymore. So my headcanon is that the demon is using him as a vessel to be Freddy Krueger. It's like specifically for when he like shows up in Heather's room towards the end. And he's like, miss me? Like, that's the part I'm like, oh, that's Robert Englund. Like, that's just, it's got to be, right? Like, that's my headcanon. This headcanon theory is going to come up again in Scream 3. Wes Craven likes to do this. In the case of Scream 3, it was because of rewrites. In this, I'm not sure. But that's my headcanon, is that the demon uses his body as a vessel. Or something. I don't know. That's my idea. But yeah, so, and then, like, she goes to see Wes Craven, and it's funny because Wes Craven is, like, typing up, like, stuff that they're talking about as they're talking. It almost feels like Alan Wake, I'm going to be honest. That's what it was reminding me of when I was rewatching it, because I've been playing Alan Wake. I'm almost done with it. But, there's that part where, like, I forget who she's talking to, but they were like, yeah, Wes Craven told me that he's gotten up to the part where Dylan tries to touch heaven or something, or touch God or something, and that like mirrors him climbing up the fucking rocket ship or whatever the fuck it was and jumping off. And then yeah, she gets there and like she sees it on his computer is like their conversation, and I'm like, oh, it's Alan Wake. I'm like, that's cool. Like I like that kind of shit. That's cool. So then Wes Craven pretty much tells her, like, there's going to come a point where you're going to have to make a choice. and will you be willing to play Nancy again one last time? You know, and then we get some more shit. Dylan goes into the hospital for a while because he's fucking tweaking. And the nurse just does not believe Heather.
She's like, you let him watch that movie, didn't
You let him watch horror movies, you fucking bitch.
She's
And
like,
then,
everyone knows about Freddy. He's like fucking Santa Claus now.
yeah, which is a weird line, but I'll allow it.
I mean, it was true.
Yeah, no, in the 80s and the early 90s
Freddy
especially.
Mania.
Yeah, no, that was a thing. That was an actual thing. Because he's just such a lovable fella. I think in the documentary, I don't remember who said it, but somebody was like, yeah, you like almost want to cuddle him, but like you're scared of him. And I'm like, I have never wanted to cuddle Freddy Krueger. I don't know what the fuck you're on. I have never wanted to cuddle that man in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, so, you know, Dylan's in the hospital, or the fucking psychiatric, he's somewhere. And then the babysitter shows up, and she was earlier in the movie, in the morning with the earthquakes and everything, and she called the stalker a sick fuck, I think, and then she apologized, and I was like, why would you apologize for that? Like he's a sick fuck, I guess. I don't know.
Oh yeah, and she's and then Heather's been getting these fucking things in the mail that are like, I don't know what they were written on, but it looks like it was important stuff. But anyways, there's just like letters on these burnt pieces of paper, and she keeps getting them. And then at some point, fucking Dylan puts it all together, and it's like, answer the phone.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I guess, Freddy calling.
Yeah, because isn't that like when the fucking tongue comes out of the receiver again?
Does that.
They do that gag again. And then like the fucking, I'm going to say spit, comes out of the receiver. Some kind of fucking liquid. I don't think it's cum, but I do think it's spit. Because it'd be, wow, that'd be something. That demon's wild, and if it's cum, but I think it's spit, or something, and yeah, so you know, it's a new episode, and you gotta have a new cum joke. So you know, anyway, yeah, Dylan's in the hospital. Nobody believes Heather. She has a nightmare that Dylan like fucking throws up on her, a la Exorcist, and then says like some shit in a stupid voice. It felt like fucking part 5 again, where that little kid's like, nah, school's out, Freddy, or whatever the fuck he says, or school's out, Krueger. I don't know what the fuck he says. I don't care. I hated that part anyway. I
want to be like you.
The kids always ruin everything. That's what I'm getting at, all right? They ruined Rainbow Six Siege. They ruined Call of Duty. They ruined fucking everything. That's all kids do. They touch stuff, and then it turns to shit. Anyway, literally, because kids, you know, put their fucking fingers and shit all over all the time. I hate kids, dude. I don't like kids. That's what we're learning today. Is I don't like kids. So yeah. After that, you know, Heather wakes up and the nurse is like, "No, we took him to the fucking another room to get some sedatives, and his babysitter's with him."
And she storms in there and it's like, "Do you have a pass? Screw your pass."
Yeah, well, the babysitter gets got. They do the rotating room gag again, which is always a cool effect. I like that effect a lot.
But I never understood why it killed her. Like, what's the demon's logic in that?
Knowing it, again, this is something that's gonna pop up in Scream. It's weird how many similarities this movie has with like the 4 Scream movies that Wes Craven directed. But there's a character that dies in the first Scream movie that was killed only because I think the Weinsteins were like, "Hey, there's not enough people dying. we need a kill in this lull that you have here, you know, to keep people hooked." And then, you know, that's what happened. And I think it might be the same thing here. I think I remember hearing that she died because there weren't enough deaths in the movie. So they just killed her because of that. But it doesn't make sense because, 1, only Dylan can see Freddy, which is a little weird. And 2, she didn't deserve that, all right? She's the Annie of this movie.
Yeah.
She did not deserve that at all.
But then it was just a stupid kill too. I mean, aside from like getting slashed up and dragged up the ceiling, all he does is like flick her head with his finger and breaks her neck.
And it's so disappointing because this motherfucker gets my hopes up by saying, "Oh, have you ever played the game Skin the Cat?" And I'm like, he's about to flay this bitch alive. And then no, he just fucking that's it. That's all he does. He was gonna take that bitch to Funky Town, and then he decided not to. And that's what we get. That's what we get, I guess. So I guess I'll watch Terrifier if I want something more extreme. But because Art wouldn't have said a fucking word. He would have looked Dylan right in the eye and just fucking ripped her face off, and then he would have put it on or some shit. Because Art's a sick bastard. All right,
my man went out of his way in number 2 to go get salt and bleach for that girl,
and then he walks in all excited. What a fucking sick bastard. Anyway, yeah, that's if Bugs Bunny wanted you dead. Because that's a Bugs Bunny gag right there. 100%. If Bugs Bunny was a fucking serial killer, that's how he would be.
Please, Terrifier 3, don't hold back.
It won't. It's not going to. I doubt it. I mean, there was already insinuated that he kills a kid in that trailer. And then everybody was like, why are you killing kids? Why not? Have you seen The Blob? Have you seen Dr. Sleep? Have you seen any horror movie that's actually horror, dude? Like, it's okay. They're not really dying. It's fine.
Like, that's why they didn't put the full death of one of the kids in Silver Bullet on the movie. Because in the book, it describes exactly what the thing did to him.
What is, is that the one that gets disemboweled that they cut out?
What?
Because there's a kid that gets disemboweled in Silver Bullet, isn't there?
He gets like cut open and his head gets taken off and all that. And
That's right.
They wanted to show all that, but then they're like, "Nah, we're not going to show that."
Is Silver Bullet the one where it's like
the kid in the wheelchair?
The kid in the wheelchair, right? Yeah. Okay. That's a Stephen King book, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cycle of the Werewolf, I think, is the name of the. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a very good book. I fucking dude. I don't think I have it anymore, but I had that book with illustrations. And I was like, God, it's so fucking good. That was one of my favorite Stephen King stories, actually. I know who you're talking about. Yeah, because that picture is in the book, if I remember correctly, or at least part of it.
We don't get to see that, but we get to see a bunch of werewolves take over a church in the Reverend's dream.
That's always cool. But yeah, I don't know. It's like, America's just scared to hurt kids. Meanwhile, you watch Martyrs and you're just like, oh, all right. Well, that's rough.
Or fucking Girl Next Door.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot. I'm telling you, man, other countries don't give a shit. And in America, we're like, well, no, we can't show that because that would be going too far. And I'm just like, come on, man.
It's like people didn't complain when this happened in the opening scene of A Quiet Place. Like, nobody bitched about that.
Well, yeah, but that was directed by John Krasinski, and everybody loves Jim Halpert, so that's different, Justin, because Jim Halpert's so hot. Have you seen him? He's got a beard now. That's why people like him. It's that thing. Even though he kind of looks like a Muppet low-key, but that's okay because, I liked The Office when I watched it 10, 20 years ago. It was a long time ago. I don't remember. It wouldn't have, well, yeah, I guess it would have been out. It would have been like just coming out when I was 8 years old. But, Parks and Rec is better, so.
Way better.
That's that goes without saying. But, yeah, I don't know. And Emily Blunt's in that too, isn't she? Isn't she in A Quiet Place? His wife?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good for her, I guess. I don't know. I don't care. I haven't seen any of those because I don't care.
The first one's fine. The second one was unnecessary.
Isn't Cillian Murphy in the second one?
I don't know who that is.
He's Scarecrow in Batman Begins. He's Oppenheimer. I don't know.
Somebody's in that movie. I don't know.
I feel like it's either him or fucking David Dastmalchian. I don't know how to say it. I'm sorry, dude. I said your last name completely wrong. I don't know how to say your name. Fucking Polka Dot Man from Suicide Squad, and General Weirdo in most other movies. But no, yeah, I don't know. I those movies just never really. That was also around the time I don't think I was going to the movies that much, so that's probably why I didn't see those. I just didn't care. I don't think I was into horror either yet, so who knows? Either way, I'll watch it eventually, maybe if we ever decide to cover it. If we ever Get that itch.
You know, while we were still on our break of not recording, I watched all the not all of them, but the first 3 Predator movies again.
Yeah. You
Still,
really like those movies, huh?
still love the first one.
Yeah.
To me, it still holds up.
Yeah.
The second one is just goofy, but I mean, you were never going to recapture what the first movie did.
Especially not in the city.
So try again. At least the city was a different environment and it was funny. And then when I got to Predators, like, because I've told you that that's my favorite one. But as I was watching it, I was like, this movie's kind of fucking stupid.
A little bit.
I think it's just the writing and how serious everyone's trying to be because they're just trying to be the first movie again. Like, if it just went full on with its, okay, you're on this planet, predators are kidnapping people and they're doing this fine. We don't need nods to the first movie. Like, this is not supposed to be the first movie again.
Yeah, but that's... I feel like that's the movie that started the trend of... Let's do a reboot that's just the first one again. I feel like that's where it started. Because when did that one come out? That came out like, what, 2014?
I was a freshman.
So if you were... oh, shit, that's like 2010.
Yeah.
Damn. Fucking what? God damn it. Oh, my God. Ew, dude. Ew. Hold on. I don't want to be wrong here. You're probably right, though.
Nothing against Adrian Brody. Like, he tried in that movie, but
2010. Fuck my life.
It was just coming off as like trying way too hard, and like everyone's out of breath while they deliver every line in that movie.
Well, I mean, they're in the jungle.
Yeah, but like every time. Come on.
No, it like I don't know. I
mean, I still like it, but
that's coming up on my backlog here. But
I still like it, but the dialogue in that movie is just really poor.
Well, yeah, because it's trying to be the first one again. But I mean, I haven't watched it in a good while. I remember Walton Goggins was the best part.
Yeah.
9 o'clock pitch Raven time. What a fucking guy. And I remember liking it, and I think I still like it, but I haven't watched it recently. But I don't know. I feel like I do agree that it was probably trying too hard to be the first one again. And tone is what's important when you're doing that, because
the first one took time to like be funny sometimes.
Yeah,
and then this one is just like, no, we're all serious all the time.
Tries to be too serious. Yeah, that's too bad.
And then I feel like every actor was good for their individual role, but I could not just sit there and believe that these people actually decided to work together.
Yeah, I did like the Yakuza guy too, though.
Yeah, until they just made him go out like Billy.
Well, but he actually had a fight.
Yeah,
though.
he actually had a fight.
You actually saw him fight. And I remember in the theater, because I saw that one in theaters when it came out. I remember in the theater, I remember there was a dude that when he saw him pull out the sword, and then he saw the Predator taking off all his armor and doing his one gauntlet, I remember the dude was like, no fucking way. Like, he was like so hyped. And then like, you know, that last bit happens where they both cut each other and go down like a fucking samurai movie. And he was like, oh, fucking awesome. Like, he was like, I thought he was going to start cheering. He was hyped. Love that dude. I wonder where he is now.
And then I don't understand, like, Topher Grace's character making that betrayal at the end. It's like, what are you gonna do? Tell the Predator you want to be its friend?
I did.
You're gonna die no matter what.
Knowing him, he probably would have fucking.
Why are you bothering trying to fucking make this girl die first?
He's just a prick. I don't know. He's Topher Grace. Who cares?
Yeah.
Not the worst thing I've ever seen him in, but
he got stabbed.
He did. Yeah, he did, didn't he?
I like with because the Adrian Brody's character stabs him first and then sets him up as a trap. I just like how the Predator casually walks up to him, pokes him with the blade to see if he's still alive.
That being said, I think because Prey, when you look at Prey, that one kind of feels like the first movie again too, but
it did enough different to separate itself.
It's a completely different time period, a completely different setting, completely different characters. I think Prey. I mean, you got your callbacks like, oh well, if it bleeds, we can kill it. Like,
Yeah.
of course. Like that's
But that's not all they relied on.
I mean, that's just the nature of making a movie like that. Is you're always going to be tempted to do that shit. Scream does that shit all the time.
The
Like,
only thing that annoyed me about Prey, and this is just because I'm a fucking lore nerd when it comes to Predators, is the fucking gun being included in it from Predator 2.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Because comics already established where that gun came from. It's so having it pop up in Prey just makes no sense.
Yeah. But those comics aren't canon, maybe. Sorry for the audio thing that just happened. My cat decided to walk all over the fucking cord. George.
No, the comics are canon because Predators has a comic sequel.
Oh, you're right. The only thing that bugs me about Prey is that they're all speaking English, and I know you can watch the Comanche dub, but the lip movements don't match, and it drives me fucking crazy. Also, they initially wanted to film it completely in Cherokee, but then Disney was like, "Oh, but then how are we gonna sell it?" And then they made them make that change, just to not even fucking release it in theaters anyway. So it's just fuck you, Disney. God damn it. All right, anyway. I don't even know where we were. We got off on a certified sidetrack segment. That was a big one. We had 2 weeks. While we're here.
Oh, I watched The Faculty too.
While we're here, I watched. I went to go see Poor Things. It's good, but it's not really horror. But I guess it's got a little bit of like body horror in it, but not a whole lot. It's just fucking weird. That's what I'm gonna say. It's weird, but like it's funny. Because we talk about on this show all the time about how, like, in the 80s, New Blood got censored, but then you watch Evil Dead 2013 and you're like, what the fuck? Like, this is the same thing with Poor Things, because Crash came out, David Cronenberg's Crash, not the fucking shitty Oscar bait one. David Cronenberg's Crash came out in 1996, and it was rated NC-17 because everybody fucks everybody in that movie, and because it's supposedly super graphic or whatever. It was so like reviled at the Cannes Film Festival that the committee usurped Francis Ford Coppola and decided to give it the award. Like they made up an award specifically for that movie because they liked it so much. And Francis Ford Coppola was angry because he was like, "This movie's fucking filth." And it's just it's people that get off to like car accidents and shit. David Cronenberg, I think I talked about it a little bit already, but he's really fascinated with like technology as an extension of human beings. So if we ever talk about Crimes of the Future, which I kind of want Justin to watch, so we might cover that one day. It feels like, I don't know, that's just something David Cronenberg always likes, and cars are very much an extension of ourselves with how the world operates these days. We have to fucking use it to go to work and all that shit. So, the idea that would become something that you find sexually arousing, I think, is interesting. But anyway, it was rated NC-17 when it came out. Everybody was like, this movie's disgusting. You watch Poor Things. Brother. There is some shit in Poor Things. I was half expecting to see full-on penetration, my guy. That shit was fucking explicit. I don't think I've ever seen sex scenes that are that close to just being porn before. That shit was crazy. You got Mark Ruffalo giving Emma Stone back shots. You got her doing a position in Missionary where she has one of her legs up, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, they could show this and this is rated R? What the fuck? Like, I was expecting a fucking POV angle, dude. Like that, it felt like a fucking porno. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying, it's amazing to me that in 1996, people saw James Spader's face as he, quote unquote, penetrated a gash in a woman's leg and thought this is too extreme and rated it NC-17. And then in this movie, you got Emma Stone fucking grinding on Mark Ruffalo's dick, and it's just like, it's an R rating. That's rated R. It's just weird. It's just very weird to me. I don't know. It was a good movie, though. Y'all should check it out. It's actually really good. Emma Stone's really good in it, outside of all the, nudity stuff. But she's, actually, really good in it. Weird premise, but, as the movie goes on, you kind of get used to it. Good movie. You check it out. Maybe I don't know if you'd like it, Justin, but you should check it out anyway, just to see if you'd like it. It's pretty good. And then I also saw. Did I see anything else? I don't think I saw anything else really. I watched. I watched The Warriors, and that's a movie that took me too long to get to. That's pretty good. But yeah, that's the end of that. That's the end of the certified sidetrack segment. I can't sit here all day talking about other movies when we're talking about this one. I don't know where we were. I think we were at the point where they're at the hospital.
Yeah.
Because we were wondering
dies.
why the babysitter got fucking killed in such a brutal way, and then we started talking about Terrifier, and then it went downhill from there. But he just breaks her neck, and it's just like, come on, dude. So anyway, then she falls. I did like her falling though. That was kind of funny. Just splat, like gibby, That was good. That was a good moment. And then Dylan's like Rex, and then he tries to run away. And then he gets
out of the hospital.
They inject him with the sedatives, and they just don't fucking work. And he gets out of the hospital.
Except for the brief moment that the babysitter was allowed to be killed.
And he gets on he gets on the freeway, and
because that's what Heather told him. If you ever need to get home, remember,
we're on the other
cross
side of the freeway. And at this point, Heather's got the Nancy streak in her hair.
Yeah, she's scared now.
And so she goes on the highway, somehow survives
getting run over.
Makes it home.
Well, then there's that really dumb scene of the Freddy army coming through the fence.
Yeah, that was kind of dumb. And then Freddy in the clouds picking him up.
Well, that one worked. Like, I could believe that one, but the clones, that just looked dumb.
And then John Saxon shows up at her home, and
he's all detective. What's his name now?
Yeah, there's that part where he's Detective Thompson. Nancy Thompson's her name, right?
Yeah.
So there's that part where, just like in the first movie, and the movie makes sure you know that it's from the first movie because then it plays that clip immediately after. There's that part where he's like, who killed who? And then she's like, Freddy Krueger. And then he's like, yeah, okay. And then he's like, come on, Nancy. And then, they have a whole scene where it's basically she realizes that she has to play Nancy again. And then she walks back into the house, and then on the TV screen is that exchange from the first movie where she's like, Fred Krueger, and he's like, yeah, okay. And it's just like, all right, I get it. I get it. It's like watching The Town, directed by Ben Affleck, which is a movie about bank robbers, and it pulls a lot from Heat, which is Michael Mann's probably best movie. And Ben Affleck has a scene where he's watching Heat, and I'm just like, we get it. Like I already knew you were inspired by the movie just by the premise, my guy. Like, why are you doing this? By the way, I rewatched Heat. And that's one of those movies where I watched when I was a teenager. Sorry to do this again. That's one of those movies I watched when I was a teenager. And I was like, that was okay. But I didn't really think it was that great. I rewatched it. And as a 28-year-old man, I was like, this is one of the best fucking movies I've ever seen in my life. Like, it's so fucking good. Oh my God. Al Pacino has so many quotable fucking lines in that movie. He's so, oh my God. I listen, I'm like, it's so good. It's so, the sound design alone, there's that fucking shootout in front of the bank. Oh, that shit sounds fucking terrifying. Like and it's funny, I was watching the special features and Michael Mann was like, yeah, we were going to go back and overdub all the gunshots. He's like, but after hearing what the raw footage sounded like, I didn't want to. He's like, because it sounded fucking horrifying. And yeah, dude, it sounded fucking scary. It was fucking crazy. Oh my God. Oh, Jesus Christ. What a good movie. What a good fucking movie. That's just one of the best. That's one that came out the year I was born. That movie's almost 30 years old. It's a good fucking movie. Anyway, sorry about that. But yeah, Heat is fucking amazing. That's I cannot believe I did not think it was that great when I was a teenager. That's like if I watched Halloween when I was a teenager and I was like, that fucking sucked. And then I watched it years later and I'm like, what was wrong with me? It's the same effect. Like, it's the same, like, where it's just like, why did I ever think this was just mediocre? Like, this is fucking fantastic. Oh my god! I guess that's what like just experiencing more of life does to you. Maybe that's why. Sometimes I think about like that's why movies and video games are rated M, not because of necessarily the gore and stuff, but because of the content that like the thematic content, where it's like, yeah, if you're not old enough, you're not gonna get it. It's not gonna hit the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So New Nightmare. Maybe if I ever have a kid, which I won't, but maybe if I ever have a kid, movies like this will hit different, and I'll be like, oh, I love kids. But that's not gonna happen because I hate kids. So anyway, yeah. So basically, Dylan gets fucked and fucking taken away.
Hello.
What? What?
You said Dylan gets fucked first.
Oh, I thought I see what I was gonna say was Dylan gets sucked away, and in my brain I was like, that doesn't sound right. Say fucking taken, and then I said fucked. That's what happened there. I apologize, everybody. I turned into a Catholic priest for a moment, but
Jesus.
Dylan gets taken away into, I guess, hell.
The blanket slide.
Yeah, the blanket slide. So Nancy starts taking these fucking sleeping pills that I guess Dylan left for her. I think is the implication.
Well, first she finds Rex all destroyed.
Yeah, Rex got fucking eviscerated, brother. This is also after, I should say, that her and Nancy, that Nancy and Freddy fight each other. I need to stress that too. I don't remember if that happens before or after John Saxon turns back into Detective Thompson, but they fight, and and then Freddy fucking goes away.
He tries to wrap his gigantic tongue around her head.
That's when they're in hell. Yeah, I'm assuming it's hell. Or like a dream hell. I don't whatever. I don't care. The movie's not going to explain it. I'm not going to try to figure it out. But they go over there. Nancy is what I'm going to call her.
No.
She finds Dylan, and then Freddy's like, "Oh, fucking bitch" or whatever, and yeah, some shenanigans happen. He gets trapped in a fire pit after trying to wrap his tongue around everybody, I guess, to smother Nancy. I don't know what he was trying to do.
Drag her into the fire.
That's what he was trying to do, sure.
But she hated doing that.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
I can imagine. That's probably not the best thing.
She said that was the worst thing that any of the movies ever made her do.
Yeah, I can see that. But yeah.
And then fucking Dylan stabs the tongue.
Yeah, and then it splits, and that was kind of good. That was a good little
Freddy
effect.
burns and fucking inflates and then whatever.
Yeah, he dies.
You see the demon for a second before it dies.
And then Heather and Dylan get shot back into the real world. She finds the script with a little note from Wes that says, "Thanks for playing Nancy one more time." And then
she reads it to Dylan.
And then she starts reading it to Dylan. And then that's the end of the movie. That's the end of New Nightmare. That's how it ends.
The way the demon looked made me think of that dumb movie that I showed you, Shapeshifter.
Oh my god.
What a great movie.
About that. Fucking Shapeshifter. Jesus. What a movie.
I couldn't remember what it was called, so I just typed movie with monster in a prison.
and that's what you got?
Yeah.
Jesus. All right. Well, I guess it's time to
eat
read
some slime.
Reviews. Well, kind of. Okay. So, you know the drill by now. So, with on Rotten Tomatoes, it's got a 79%.
Awesome.
42 reviews are positive, average rating of 6.4 out of 10. All right? Consensus reads, Wes Craven's New Nightmare adds an unexpectedly satisfying, not to mention intelligent, meta layer to a horror franchise that had long since lost its way. Cool. Several critics have subsequently said that New Nightmare could be regarded as a prelude to the Scream series. That's what I'm saying. Both sets of films deal with the idea of bringing horror films to real life, and both were directed by Wes Craven. Funny thing too is that Wes Craven wasn't even an option to direct Scream. I forget who Kevin Williamson wanted initially to direct it, but eventually they were like, "Oh, well, we'll see if Wes wants to do it." And then Wes was like, "Yeah, I'll do it." And then, one of the best movies ever made came out in 1996. That movie's almost 30 years old. That's fucking crazy. Can you believe it?
No.
Believe it. Anyway. Anyway, Roger Ebert gave it 3 out of 4 stars. Said, "I haven't been exactly a fan of the Nightmare series, but I found this movie with its unsettling questions about the effect of horror on those who create it strangely intriguing." That's a good point to make too. Is that a lot of it can be read that way, where it's like the movies are doing this to them, but like also it's a literal demon. So
Yeah.
it doesn't exactly work that way, but that's an interesting way to read it, I guess, if you want.
That's what I always wondered. Like,
It's not like Funny Games, you know. where
like in the
it's-
movies where they have to film a rape scene. Like, does that woman go away with like a slight traumatization or whatever?
Well, boy, do I have a story for you. Irreversible. You still haven't seen it, huh, Justin?
No.
All right, well, get ready for the longest 12 minutes of your life. But in that movie, so Monica Bellucci knew what she was getting into. That was the first thing. The second thing is that she straight up told the attacker in that scene, "Don't hold back. Just, make me feel it." You know? Yeah. Yeah. She's, oh my God. I think I've talked about it before, but that's one of those things where it's like, that's, I think, the only movie I can think of that lives up to that hype of, oh, this is disturbing, like this is gonna haunt you. That is the only fucking movie I've seen where that has been true, because that shit, I still think about it and I'm still like, oh my fucking God, like that shit is hard to watch. That is a rough ass scene. But Monica Bellucci was like, yeah, don't hold back. Just, I want to, I'm going to be giving it my all. I want you to give it your all, right? So, boy, did she. And, but like in the recent, because like, I think the Blu-ray that I have is like the 20th anniversary, I think at the time, because that movie came out in like 2000, I think. So, that, she was talking about how like she's still proud of that movie. Like, her and Vincent Cassell both were like, we're still both proud of the movie. And Monica Bellucci's like, yeah, you should be. But she was talking about how when it premiered at Cannes, not only did everybody walk out for the most part, but there was a woman that came up to her after the movie. She's like, how could you be in something like that? And Monica Bellucci's like, because I wanted to. That's the thing that always gets me when we talk about movies like that, is that as long as the relationship on the set was fine, and as long as the actress wanted to do it, I think it's okay. And Monica Bellucci, yeah, it's taking agency away from her if you think that like Gaspar Noé was like exploiting her or something, because she knew what she was doing. Like, she wanted to do it. Like, I don't know, man, that like she wanted to be in the movie. And what's funny though is that the guy that plays the attacker was talking about how like he was like, it kind of fucked me up. Like, he's like, I wasn't. He's like I went to work that day. He's like, we did like 3 takes. He's like, and I drove home in complete silence. He's like, it took me a second to kind of like, recover. And I'm just like, Jesus Christ. And I'm just like, they did 3 takes? Like, I was like, oh my God. Like, fuck, dude. That is one of the most like horrible things I think I've ever seen in a movie. Like, that shit. I mean, it's effective though. I mean, it's, which is the point. But yeah, that's shit's rough. That shit's hard to watch. If you ever watch that movie, Justin, make sure you're alone. Make sure it's just you, because that is a rough fucking scene. But yeah, that was the one thing too, is that it felt. I remember when they said, yeah, it's only like 12 minutes. I was like, that was only 12 minutes. Like, that felt like a fucking eternity, dude. That felt like at least 30 minutes. Like, that was crazy. But yeah, no, I mean, yeah. So it's funny in that case, because Monica Bellucci was like, it was just part of the job. And the dude that played the attacker was like, took me a little bit. Took me a little bit to kind of get over it. And I'm just like, God damn. But, that's what you do for art, That's how it is. But yeah, but I do think about that too, where like, how does it affect you, because
or like children actors even being in horror movies.
Yeah, because like, I mean, you got to go to a certain kind of place. Having acted before, you got to kind of go from, you got to kind of like tap into stuff that you probably don't want to think about. Not always, but if you're trying to get a certain emotion out, I mean, you know, you got to do what you got to do. The things you do for art, that's what you do. But yeah, so, you know, I mean, you know, it's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's not funny games, but it's good. I mean, it's, you know, it's still an interesting way to read into it. Gene Siskel was less complimentary of the film, giving it a thumbs down rating and stating that it was campy and he did not find Freddy a particularly compelling villain. Well, the movie's not about Freddy. And campy? I don't know about campy.
Yeah, this one didn't feel campy
George,
at all.
Don't go over there, George. You're going to fucking make the microphone explode. You're shattering the mold. Either dropping hits like Day-Lo or get the fuck off the commode. Anyway. See, George, stop attacking my hand, dude. Owen Gleiberman gave New Nightmare a negative review stating, after a good gory opening in which Freddy's glove, newly designed with sinews and muscles, slashes the throat of the special effects guy who's been working on it, the movie succumbs to a kind of sterile inertia. Wes Craven's New Nightmare isn't about Freddy haunting a film set, which actually might have been fun. It would have been. Oh, but hey, you know what's funny? They did that in Scream 3 and nobody liked it. Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird, dude? Jesus, these people don't fucking know what they want. Anyway, it's about Heather Langenkamp, star of the original Nightmare on Elm Street, being menaced for 2 long, slow hours by earthquakes, cracks in the wall, and other weary portents of doom. And you thought that was boring? Like, I don't think it's boring. The movie is not about Freddy. That's why it's different. Whatever. These people don't know what they want. He described the film as just an empty hall of mirrors that lacks the trance-like dread of the original and ingeniously demented special effects of Dream Warriors. In a retrospective review, Vinnie Mancuso from Collider signaled out the film as Craven's meta-horror masterpiece. Kevin Summerfield from the horror website Slasher Studios gave it 4 out of 4 stars and said, New Nightmare is that rare horror film in which everything works. The performances are pitch perfect, led by a tour de force performance by the amazing Heather Langenkamp. Absolutely. Like I already said, her acting is actually really good in this one. Now, the script has many twists and turns, and the movie is quite possibly the best looking of the entire series. New Nightmare is Robert Englund's favorite Nightmare movie. Heather Langenkamp also really likes it. So that's all that. So now it's time to get to the real good stuff. The IMDb reviews.
Oh boy.
Cannot wait to find Jacob John Taylor again, because I will find him, and I will be amazed by what he wrote. I can't wait. I can't fucking wait. Anyway, so this has a 6.4 out of 10 on IMDb, which is 10 points lower than the original and 1 point higher than Nightmare on Elm Street 2. Isn't that crazy? Huh. That's something. Okay, so where are my reviews? Okay. Not a lot of 1-star reviews for this one. Disappears up its own backside. Why couldn't you just say ass or butt, dude? Why'd you say backside? Are you a Mormon? How on earth anybody can find this pile of manure remotely scary is beyond me. When this first came out in 1994, I noted it was Wes Craven's New Nightmare. What? What does that mean?
He noted it was Wes Craven's New Nightmare?
Yes. What is that? What? Be warned. Oh, be warned. There's nothing new about it. Craven is back to flogging a dead horse as he's done many times throughout his misguided career. Hold on, brother. Hold on, brother.
This guy's going off.
Hold on, brother. Hold on. The sad reality is that Craven is given far too much credit in a genre where he is at best an average talent. Compared to the brilliance of Robert Wise, The Haunting, Alfred Hitchcock, Psycho, and Tobe Hooper, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Mr. Craven stands as a mere footnote in the annals of horror. Sorry if this sounds like a rant against Craven, but frankly, I'm fed up with Freddy Krueger. After watching Scream a while back, I didn't think Craven could not possibly get any more self-referential or tedious than he already is. Clearly, I was wrong. First of all, brother, die. Second of all, are you gonna tell me that The Hills Have Eyes, and The Last House on the Left, and Nightmare on Elm Street, and Scream, and even some of his other movies that aren't horror movies like Red Eye, you're going to tell me that those aren't, like, classics in the genre? Like, what? And everybody loves to suck Texas Chainsaw Massacre's dick, man. I don't get it. I think it's fine. I need to rewatch it. I know. But I watched it, I want to say a couple years ago. And I remember thinking, wow, that was pretty all right. I don't think it was amazing. I don't think it was a masterpiece. But I liked it. And then I watched Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, and I was like, wow, this is what I wanted. Like, this movie is fucking batshit crazy. And I like batshit crazy. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is fine, though. I'm sure if I rewatch it, I'll be like, yeah, it's all right. This guy said Wes Craven should be ashamed. Awesome. Absolutely terrible. It's just bad on all fronts. After the third movie, you really see a lack of quality in the writing and the atmospheric visuals. This movie tries to make it seem like it's real, and I found it all to be a complete joke. Like, I stopped at one point watching the movie thinking, am I watching a Freddy movie? Oh, he didn't like it because it wasn't like a typical Nightmare on Elm Street movie.
That's what most people's issue is with it.
There were some parts that got me really mad because it felt like the writers thought they were doing something cool to end the series. I get it. The studio is probably pressuring them that if they don't make enough profit, then they'll stop the series for some time. But come on, why give in to the suits and just make something good? And all of the kills where one would assume that Freddy could easily kill someone.
What?
It's like it doesn't happen, and I was just baffled when watching it because before Freddy was pretty ruthless, but this is all hugging and childish? What? All this slow walking and messing with his claws and just wasting time is completely boring and a total waste of time. I seriously don't think anyone who wants to like the series should watch this. Brother, did you watch the first one?
Yeah, I was going to say. Cause
Freddy was constantly just like...
chasing and taunting.
Like, do you remember the part where he cuts his fingers off? You remember the part where his arms stretch out? You remember all that? You remember the part where he's like, I'm your boyfriend now, Nancy. You remember all that? What? What are you... All right.
Oh, dumbass.
Let's be real. This movie sucks. Imagine having so much ego that you would write this garbage and direct it. Seriously, Dream Child is more entertaining than this. Krueger mask looks horrible. In fact, his glove looks horrible. All right, brother, come on. You don't diss the bio glove, brother. How do you mess up the glove? And why does this kid look and act like the kid from The Shining? Oh, okay, brother. I'll tell you why. Because this movie is nothing but a bunch of glitches. It's nothing but a bunch of cliches and tropes. The whole thing, whoever greenlit this garbage needs to be jobless. Though it is now 25 years later, so I'm sure they are by now. Craven is dead, dude. I don't think that's a little rough, my guy. Also, I guess he means that he's acting like Danny from The Shining because he does a silly voice, but Danny's silly voice, one, isn't that bad, and two, is supposed to be I forget what was the name. I don't remember the name of his little imaginary friend, his Shine basically, but it was like the red rum, like that's why he was moving his finger too in the movie. That's like, I don't know, it's not the same thing. It's not. It also, the dude that played Danny was a lot better. I'm gonna be real with you, Chief. Even in Dr. Sleep, the kid that played young Danny was pretty good, if I remember right. Wow, that guy doesn't like it. Oh my god. Oh my god. One of the worst horror movies I've ever seen. This is the least frightening in a series of films that, to put it kindly, wasn't world-class cinema to start with. Wes Craven, a hack scare film director if there ever was one, returns to the sinister icon that made him famous, Freddy Krueger, and this weird in-joke featuring Heather Langenkamp, the heroine of the original Nightmare on Elm Street, as herself. She's now a wife and mother living somewhere in Hollywood and keeping house. She's approached to make another Freddy film, but can't shake the feeling that it's a bad idea. Long story short, Freddy has decided to cross over from movie reality to our reality so he can unleash his evil on the world in a much more direct way. You did not watch the movie. Of course, this means that a lot of people have to die, and somewhere along the way her son becomes possessed by the evil man's spirit, or some such nonsense. Craven has always had a hard time scaring me, and while I can acknowledge the power, if not the greatness, of A Last House on the Left, or the originality of Serpent in the Rainbow, I have to say that I think his is one of the most undistinguished careers in Hollywood. I so disliked the movie that I couldn't believe it had actually been released. To be fair, the concept isn't all bad. The execution is my problem. It simply isn't scary, in all caps. In any case, New Nightmare is in the end nothing less than a rationalization for cashing in a little more on the Freddy franchise. Remember all that crap when the film was released about Craven admonishing those who referred to it as a sequel to the other Nightmare films? Talk about pretentious. Because it's not a sequel. It's not a sequel. What do you... Okay, all right. No, it's fine. This is most definitely a sequel, and a bad one at that. And I'll gladly take any other Nightmare film, including the spectacularly abysmal Part 5, over this trash. You're going to single out Part 5 but not Part 6? You're going to single out brother, my guy. That's it. I just wanted to voice my negative opinion of this claptrap and do my part to balance all the favorable criticism this film has garnered here at the IMDb. For a good horror movie, watch anything by Cronenberg or some of Carpenter's stuff, though he's been running into some major league suckage on his past few films. Yeah, this was like right after Ghost of Mars came out. Or for that matter, the original Nightmare, 0.005 out of 10. You think Cronenberg's scary? Like, I don't think Cronenberg is scary, man. Also, Cronenberg is directed like, let me think. There's Rabid, there's Shivers, there's The Brood. Videodrome's not really horror. The Fly is body horror, but not really. Like he wouldn't classify it as that. Naked Lunch is definitely fucking not horror. Crash isn't horror. Crimes of the Future isn't horror. He's only directed like fucking 3 real horror movies, dude. Scanners isn't horror either. What are you talking? You think Cronenberg's scary? What? I mean, Cronenberg is like existential, but he's not like scary. Like, what are you talking about? Oh my God. Carpenter, I'll give you that though. Carpenter's great. But I mean, if you watched Escape from L.A., or Ghost from Mars, you might be saying something different. Then again, I don't know. The appeal for me to scary movies isn't to be scared. It's to be like entertained, because I like fucked up shit for some reason. Anyway, what a movie. Robert Englund didn't play Freddy in this one, FYI. What are you talking about? Yes, he did. What are you talking about? Really bad. I remember seeing this one as a kid and hating it. I just saw it again and hated it even more. I was surprised to see so many positive reviews. I loved Freddy's Dead. Well, that's your first problem.
Yeah.
Robert Englund doesn't play Freddy in this one, FYI. New Nightmare is long and boring. These people who gave this positive reviews are the same ones who watched Breaking Bad and spent the time gushing over Anna Gunn's performance. First of all, brother, if you hate Skylar so much, it's because Anna Gunn was good at her job. So... that's a good performance. If you hate Skylar, that's why. Also, on that subject, Skylar was reacting like any other fucking wife would when finding out that their husband was a fucking drug dealer. What are you on? What are you talking about? And I get it. It's because Walt's the protagonist, and like, you know, you're not supposed to root for him, I don't think, in the long run, because he turns into a giant piece of shit. But in those early seasons, you see Skylar as an obstacle to him succeeding, and you want him to succeed. So I get it, but like, she's good at her job. That's why you don't like her. Like, that's what I don't understand. Is you can hate the character, but then when you start saying Anna Gunn is bad, it's like, if you're mad about Skylar, then by default that means she was good. What the fuck are you on? Like, what? Like, come on, man. Oh my God, I'm gonna fucking strangle this man. Walt's wife was an obnoxious nag. There we go. there it is. There it is. Why is Marie always wearing purple? Why are you talking about Breaking Bad? What are you doing? What? This just turned into a Breaking Bad review. Okay, hold on a second. Hold on. Okay. Walt's wife was an obnoxious nag. Ooh. Why is Marie always wearing purple? What does it symbolize? Walter White is evil. Bro, did you watch those last 2 seasons? Are you gonna tell me Walter White did not lose his humanity? Did we watch the same show? What is happening? Hold on. They never explain what happened to that Spanish kid. First of all, yeah, they do. Second of all, where was Jesse going? These people should be tied to a chair and forced to watch and find the symbolism in Michael Bay's movies. I think this guy just doesn't like thinking about art. That's what I think it is. I just think he doesn't like that there's a greater meaning behind art that he doesn't understand. And I know I sound pretentious right now, but I think he's just like anti-pretentious to the point where it's obnoxious. Like that's what I think is happening. I think he just sees. I think he's the kind of guy that like sees movies purely as entertainment and not as expressions, and not as expressions of the director or creator, and just purely entertainment. He's the kind of guy that would be like, "Oh, RoboCop's not political. Starship Troopers isn't political." That's this guy. That's this guy. That's this fucking guy. I guarantee you, if we were to cover Starship Troopers or RoboCop, we'd see this motherfucker giving that a 10 and saying like, "I don't understand why people have to make this political." And I'm like, brother, Paul Verhoeven made it political. What are you talking about, dude? Hey, George, can you go the other way? There is more than one way for you to go, cat. I don't want you to hit the fucking cord again. Oh my god. What am I talking about? I'm not making it any sense. This isn't a review. It's just a rant. I was done after 4 lines, but I have to write 10. My review, like this movie, is long and full of hot air and ultimately makes no sense and is boring.
Oh, so he thought he was being clever.
The poor grammar is for symbolism. I know for a fact that people hate this guy at work. People hate this fucking guy. And he is like... And he has been told these things. What am I talking about? He's typing that out, mocking the people that have told him this in his life.
He's the guy that'll just go, well, actually.
Absolutely. he oh my god, what a character. What a guy. Worst nightmare come true. These movies are horrific and terrifying to the very core. They are awful. Freddy Krueger made Jason and Mike Myers look like dark angels. What does that mean? He can definitely give some nightmares. He is grotesque. What he did to his victims would make any squeamish person want to vomit. That is why I will never get this obsession. Anyone who likes these are seriously disturbed. I would hardly call these good. Blood and gore doesn't make a movie good. Being terrified to the very core with its graphic nightmarish scenes to the point you want to scream, walk out, cover your face the whole time, faint or hurl. That is all of the signs that a movie is not worth watching.
What?
What a guy. What a
So if it's a horror movie,
what a character.
This person says you have to actually be scared for it to be good.
No, he's saying that he doesn't understand why horror is appealing. And that's why he gave it a 1 out of 10.
Oh, well, he's just fucking stupid then.
Not worth the price of a rental.
Or a giant pussy.
Not worth the price of a rental. Don't even know where to begin on this one. Maybe it's because I rented this on video and had seen better Freddy, like Freddy vs. Jason, that have been released since then. But this has to be the worst attempt to write a sequel that could possibly exist. Film uses Nancy from the original movie portraying herself, Heather Langenkamp being the actress in Nightmare on Elm Street 1 and 3, where Freddy turns out to be real, and Wes Craven's dreams have been from this evil demon, and what has kept him captive is the script story that Wes Craven has done to keep him alive after killing Freddy off in the last movie. The other Freddy movies are good for a Halloween fest, but this one is not worthy of the itinerary. That wasn't really a review. That was just like... whatever, okay. This is bad. I remember this movie had so much hype when it was released in theaters back in 1994. It was supposed to be the best Nightmare movie since the original one in 1984. What a joke. This movie came nowhere near to being as good as the original one. This movie wasn't even better than part 2. Well, I won't call it that bad. All right, buddy, homophobic. But basically, this movie was lacking a lot, and I was really bored watching it. This is the reason I guess Wes Craven gave up on the Nightmare series, and no other Nightmare movies were made after this besides the remake in 2010. Wes Craven didn't want anything after the first movie. What do you... oh my god. Why can't these people be nerdy about this stuff like me? Oh, that's a lot. Dude, you wrote a whole ass fucking thesis on this movie. Oh my god. These are the 10 out of 10 reviews now, which means we're going to find the immortal Jacob John Taylor. Let me see. That's another fucking thesis, basically. Best Nightmare ever. Tense, smart, and enjoyable. One of the best Elm Street films ever made. Awesome. Good movie. Heather Langenkamp, who played Nancy, plays herself in this movie, and people are dying around her. And she has to play Nancy one last time to defeat Freddy. Heather Langenkamp, Nancy Thompson, is living a normal life. She has a son and a husband. Heather is called to New Line Cinema, and Bob Shea asked if she would love to play in another Freddy Krueger movie. Now, this is strange. If Nancy was killed in part 3, how could she come back and make another movie? But she doesn't take the part. That's a good point to make, because Nancy did die in part 3. So how would they have fucking spun it? Well, I guess Bob Shea was pitching New Nightmare to her, basically. I think was supposed to be. So that makes sense.
That's
Okay.
what that was.
Okay. She gets home to find her son has had a little episode, and it scares her. She calls her husband, and she confronts him about what he was doing without telling her he was making a new Freddy glove. So her husband is on his way home and falls asleep while driving and dies. Heather has to make a choice to play Nancy one last time to defeat the real Freddy Krueger. My man just gave a synopsis and rated it 10 out of 10. God bless him.
What else are you gonna do?
Honestly, that's what we did, basically.
Well, I give this movie an 8.
Yeah, maybe not a 10, but it's pretty good. Amazing breath of fresh air. Freddy is finally scary again. This movie is nearly perfect. I'll talk about the cons first. There isn't enough Freddy, and the cinematography makes it feel like a Lifetime movie. The good, the tone.
I think that was the point.
Okay, how could you say that the tone is dark and then it feels like a Lifetime movie? What? It is dark and sinister, and Freddy is actually scary. The characters, I cared about them, and the acting was great. The child actor did pretty good. No, he didn't. The messages about children in horror movies were cool. The homages to the original were great. I loved the meta parts of the movie. They did a great job commenting on horror movie franchise. Everything that was said was true. The kills were awesome, even though there was less than 5. The best part, though, the concept. It is brilliant and terrifically executed. New Nightmare is the best sequel in the franchise. All right, brother. How could anyone not worship this movie? I don't know if worship's the word you want to use, but okay. This movie was brilliant. I've always been a hardcore fan of the series, but all other movies in the series pale in comparison to the final film. Everyone latched onto the Scream series because of the unique idea of talking about horror movies in the movie to make it seem more real. But that idea was born with this film, not Scream. Add to that the orchestral soundtrack and the newer, scarier Freddy, and this is a permanent featured film in my personal library. I bring this movie up with anyone that mentions a horror film as a must-see. All right. Most meta thing ever. I had forgotten how amazingly self-referential and meta this sequel is. There are times that it comes off as a horror version of Robert Altman's The Player. Wow. I enjoyed the blurred lines between the characters who are playing themselves and the parts they portray. Wes Craven's most ambitious film. An underrated gem. I do think it's underrated at this point. When I first watched it, I thought more people liked it.
Yeah, I thought so too.
But now it's just like, oh man, people don't like this one, huh?
Nope.
A spark of originality in the series. Wes Craven was a genius, and this film goes along the same lines as Scream with its tongue-in-cheek approach to the genre. Heather Langenkamp plays herself, but is pulled into pulling Nancy. Okay. One more time when she discovers Freddy is real and trying to possess her young son Dylan. I don't know about that. Countless deaths and tragedies ensue, making her realize this will be a final fight to save herself and her son from Freddy, who is stronger and much more menacing than ever. Such a good sequel, and blurs the lines between movie and reality with actors playing themselves and their movie counterparts. And Freddy, no longer the funny Freddy we know, is more evil than ever before. What the fuck was that sentence? Okay. Scary, smart, and a lot of fun. Freddy's back at it again. All right. I'm a Freddy and Nancy fan, so need I say more? You think this dude, drew porn
Probably.
of Freddy and Nancy?
I'm sure it exists.
I know it does. I don't even have to look it up. I know it does. I mean, if there's art of Kratos and Quan Chi fucking, there's art of Freddy and Nancy fucking.
Oh, gosh.
100%. The reason I know about Kratos and Quan Chi is because Maximilian Dude was doing a Mortal Kombat retrospective with his friends, and they were playing the PS3 version of MK9, and there was Kratos versus Quan Chi, and Max was like, "You think anybody's ever drawn porn of this?" And then one of his friends was like, "Oh yeah, for sure." And he looks it up, and they're all looking at it and laughing. And one of them was like, "Why is it so detailed?" And that's all I remember, and that's just stuck in my mind ever since. What a good video. Anyway, my opinion on this movie is probably very biased because I grew up watching Freddy movies and adoring Nancy, consequently the actress herself, for her character. I love the series, except for the 6th installment, my man, even though I learned to forgive them for that. And so I don't really pay close attention to any quality standards like editing, script, or whatever else. I just sit back and enjoy it and have myself a great time. See, that's what you should do with horror movies sometimes, unless it's like elevated or whatever the fuck. But even then, with a lot of horror movies, you can find a deeper meaning if you want. That's what's cool about them. Good, but not my favorite. This movie did skip Nightmares 4, 5, and 6, but did have some spice to it, like bringing Wes Craven back to write yet another nightmare and Heather Langenkamp playing herself. Robert Englund, without and with the makeup, playing himself, and Freddy Krueger added a little more spice to it, which is why are you using spice as an adjective, which was pretty cool. But I like Nightmares 3 and 4 better. The second Nightmare was not as good, just like the 5th and 6th, but overall this movie was pretty good. Homophobic. All right? Homophobic. Homophobic. Absolutely. Let me see. God damn, there's people are writing like fucking theses.
They got to analyze this one. They got to let people know that they're smart and that they saw what this movie was trying to do.
Wonderful movie. This is a wonderful movie. It takes place in the real world rather than the universe of the first 6 Freddy movies. Heather Langenkamp, Wes Craven, Robert Englund, and others play themselves. The concept of the movie is that an evil supernatural being, somebody finally got it right, is that an evil supernatural being was actually responsible for Wes Craven coming up with the Freddy Krueger character. After Freddy was killed for good in part 6, that supernatural being began terrorizing Heather in her dreams and her husband and son. Heather ends up having to go into dreamland to save her son and kill the monster. This is a scary, great movie. All right, brother. Oscar worthy.
No.
If it weren't for this inherent bias against horror films, this would have definitely been an Oscar award winner. I don't know about that. No. I mean, I like it, but like...
He's the guy that's still bitching about Spider-Man not winning.
Another masterpiece from Wes Craven, R.I.P. Heather Langenkamp was outstanding. Her best work by far. Wes Craven's New Nightmare is a classic. Awesome. We got a guest speaker, Pumpkin Man.
Pumpkin Man.
Says, Freddy invades reality. I'm just going to yell for a minute here. I'm not. After Freddy's dead, the final nightmare, Wes Craven is having nightmares again. I just imagine Pumpkinhead typing this up. So he decides to write a new script because the nightmare films have ended. The real Freddy Krueger decides to come to our world. Wes Craven, Heather Langenkamp, Robert Englund, John Saxon are some of Freddy's targets he tries to kill. He tries to get Heather's son, Dylan, too. The real Freddy is a lot scarier and more evil than Robert Englund could ever portray. Well, guess what he did? Heather decides to play Nancy one last time and kill Freddy for good. If you love the Nightmare series and a movie within a movie, you might like New Nightmare. I like how he said might. He didn't even say, I know you will. He's like, you might. You might like it. I don't know. Yeah, you might think it's good. JP91, my friend. A creepy masterpiece. Wes Craven back with a great sequel. New Nightmare is a perfect film, mixing the real world with living nightmares. The fiction and reality are one. The script is a wonderful piece. The performances are amazing. Heather Langenkamp and Robert Englund are terrific actors. The atmosphere, cinematography, and special effects are magic inside this movie with the soul. A fairy tale of horror lived in the real life of a fiction. That's a sentence. Craven and his dream movie put into a film of flesh and blood. Masterpiece, one of the best 90s horror films. Okay. Oh my god. Okay, so there's two J McGee's? What the fuck?
J McGee.
These dude, a lot of people are writing this. Man, I can't wait for us to do Martyrs, and it's just gonna be like paragraph after paragraph. It's gonna be whole ass essays, and there's just gonna be one dude like, I liked it because it was freaky. I'm gonna be like, yeah, you're good, dude. I like you. Okay, so let me see. God damn, there's so many. The Creeper. Finally, oh my god. And then but under him is Jacob John Taylor. I'm so excited. Okay, so The Creeper, the second best Freddy sequel. New Nightmare really is a good movie. It is well directed and tells a great original story. Pick this one up instead of Freddy's Dead, which is horrible. I would recommend this to all horror fans, and most especially Freddy fans. 10 out of 10. Fans of horror movies like this should check out Puppet Master, Skinned Alive, Sleepaway Camp, Slumber Party Massacre, and other Full Moon Picture flicks. For other recommendations, check out the other comments I have sent in by clicking on my name above this comment section. My man loves Full Moon, dude. Like, he fucking loves that shit. Puppet Master's fine, but like... Really?
Yeah.
Like, all right, here we go. Okay, so first, before we get to the coup de grace, we got, which I pronounced horribly, sorry. We get, what? Freddy's back? I told you so. You can't keep a good thing down. 0 of 2 found this review helpful. That is amazing. All right. Okay. God. Jacob John Taylor won. The reigning champion. Part 7 is scarier than the first 6. Oh boy. Okay. Don't get me wrong. The first 6 on Nightmare on Elm Street movies are very scary, but the 7th one is scarier. This is one of the scariest movies ever. This movie has a great storyline. This movie also has great acting. This movie also has special great effects. Freddy is a ghost. Freddy is a ghost, so I consider this horror fantasy. This is one of the best horror movies ever made. This is a great movie. See this movie. This movie is a must-see. This movie is very intense. I need more lines and I am running out of things to say. This movie, Freddy is trying to get into a parallel dimension where his world is a work of fiction. Great movie, see it. It is best Nightmare on Elm Street movie. He didn't mention the remake. Thank God. I was afraid he was gonna say, but the remake is scarier, and I was gonna feel betrayed.
Well, I'm sure he's gonna say that about that one.
Oh my God, that's incredible. The fucking Freddy is a ghost, so I consider this horror fantasy. Gets me every time, dude. Oh shit, it gets me every time. Freddy is a ghost. Oh my God,
Ghost.
Oh, so that is the end
Of that.
of A New Nightmare. Not the end of the franchise yet, because we still have the fucking shit-ass remake.
Ugh,
But before we get to that fucking shit-ass remake, we got one more movie to talk about. Kinda. Yeah, we could technically have 2 from Friday the 13th, but this one is what we were waiting for. This is the whole reason we were doing these 2 together. Next week, finally, Fred Durst versus Freddy versus Jason. Finally, we're going to get rolling. Can I get a what, Justin?
What?
Thank you. All right. That's where we're at. Fred D versus Jason. Finally.
No chainsaws, but I think someone will get their ass skinned raw.
Yeah. And unfortunately, no Kane Hodder either.
Yeah, but this guy's good.
That is a tremendous letdown. But yeah, so we're very excited to cover that one. I have not seen this movie since I was like fucking 6. No, it came out in 2004, right? I was 9. So it's been, and even then, I think I saw it on like TV. So I have not seen this movie in a very long time.
I just remembered the media cycle when it was coming out. Like, they didn't really show trailers of it on TV. But, of course, Sci-Fi had to have a marathon of all the movies. But in between, it was like Robert Englund and Jason, like, hosting the marathon.
Yeah, no. There's one promotional clip that still makes me laugh because it's where Freddy is just roasting the shit out of Jason at like a heavyweight weigh-in, and he's just roasting the fuck out of Jason, and the camera cuts to Jason. It looks like he's gonna fucking cry, because he's just like staring into nothing, and his eyes are kind of watery because that's just Jason, and it looks like he's gonna fucking cry, and it makes me laugh every time I think about it because he's like your mother didn't even love you or some shit. Like, he's just fucking tearing into him, and Jason's just like he's just fucking crying. Oh my God, amazing. Anyway, yeah, I can't wait to fucking talk about it. And then after that, to get our slate clear, after that is Nightmare on Elm Street, starring Rooney Mara and Kyle Gallner. I think he's in that one. Hold on. Hold on.
The Faculty is just Breakfast Club, the horror movie.
I believe you. Yeah, Kyle Gallner's in fucking... I forgot he was in that fucking remake. Kyle Gallner's a little gem of an indie actor. I love him. Too bad he's in this fucking shit-ass movie. Anyway, so, yeah. We're going to watch that. Then we're going to watch the much better Friday the 13th remake that I also haven't seen in a very long time. That, again, I saw on TV and only clips of at that. And then, after that, it's Evil Dead Rise.
Woo.
And then it's going to be our first one-off.
In a long-ass time.
Which is going to be Martyrs. And then after that is Scream. And then after Scream... Now, I might be changing it from last time because I think I said we were going to do From Beyond after Martyrs as the first one off, but I don't want to do that. I want to just do Martyrs as the first one off. And then it'll be... Which means it'll be Martyrs and the remake because that's our rule. If it's a duology, we're going to do both movies. If it's a movie and a remake, we're going to do that. Oh, yeah. Just like I do with the Crazies. And then, and then we're going to do Scream, and then we're going to do what we did before, alternate. Justin's going to pick the next one off after that. I'm sure I cannot wait for him to fucking come at me with August Underground so I can strangle the life out of him and watch the light leave his eyes. Yet
because I don't have a way to watch that movie again.
What do you mean again? Did you destroy the disc when you...
I didn't have a disc. The way I found it, it was a video on Facebook of like, oh, here are these movies that are so bad that you can't watch them in certain places. And like 3 of them I already knew, and then he said this one, and I was like, huh.
Was Martyrs one of them?
Yeah.
Of course. I fucking love Martyrs.
And so I searched it up on Google, and then I found the full movie, and I just watched it on my phone. Like, I just couldn't stop.
That's right. I remember now. So yeah, that's that. So our first... Bringing back the one-offs with a fucking heavy dose of fucking goddamn torture. Well, not really torture porn. I wouldn't call it torture porn. But a heavy dose of fucked up.
You see, you don't have to worry about the really fucked up movies I could possibly name as one-offs. Just worry about all the shitty ones I have in mind. Because there's some bad ones.
So that'll be the split. Is I'll be like, hey, let's do American Werewolf in London and American Werewolf in Paris.
Fucking hate that movie.
And
so
then
much.
and then the next week, Justin will be like, let's watch fucking Anaconda 7, and that'll be it. And I'll be like, God damn it, Justin. And here's the other rule.
Oh, don't say Anaconda, because then I have to watch all those again.
Here's the other rule, Justin, is we're not gonna say what the movie is until we record.
Okay.
So no discussions.
But you'll have to know what it is so you can watch it.
Yeah, but when we were recording.
Oh, yeah.
No, I mean like the price.
Oh,
so
don't,
like
don't
when
say
we're like,
it, don't say it.
It's your turn to pick a movie, Justin. What's it gonna be?
Don't blurt it out.
And then
Okay.
and then we're gonna do that because then that'll make me dread every fucking recording session with you. And meanwhile, I'll just be like, what could we watch that would be, fantastic. Before Terrifier 3 comes out, though, we're definitely going to do those two. Mm-hmm. Definitely doing Terrifier 1 and 2. That's coming out in like October or November. It's a Christmas movie, though, but I think it's October or November. And then but first we got to clear up Evil Dead Rise because that's been a blind spot for a little bit. And it's just gonna be that. And then since I picked Scream to be the next horror franchise we do, Justin will be picking the next horror franchise we do. And then we'll just alternate that way. A lot of alternations going on here. And that's how it's going to be. So I got some ideas post-Martyrs. I'm sure Justin has his ideas.
Plenty.
And I cannot wait to watch Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus. Or Frankenfish. Or Ice Spiders. Or Sabretooth. Or... let me see, Aztec Rex, or what's another one, Justin? Help me out here.
Mecha Shark versus Mega Shark.
Oh my fucking god.
What the fuck was the one with the whale wolf?
A whale wolf?
Yeah. He's fighting another creature. I don't remember what it was.
Whale wolf.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, it was Sharktopus versus whale wolf. That's what it was. Yeah.
All right. Well.
And then there's Sharks of the Corn.
Oh my god.
I've never watched that. I just laugh at it every time I see it. Oh. There's I guess. No, I don't think it's a horror movie. That's more of an action movie. The movie that Ron Perlman did that almost nobody knows about, where he fights baboons.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It makes me sad that my grandpa died before Sharknado came out because he would have fucking loved Sharknado because he would. My grandpa would just put on sci-fi and just watch whatever the fuck was on. He did not care how bad it was. He did not care how stupid it was. He loved those I think it's because they reminded him of B movies, because they basically are. They're just modern B movies,
Pretty much.
And he fucking loved them, dude. And it makes me sad because he would always tell me about Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus, and then he dies, and then fucking Sharknado comes out, and I'm like, man, Grandpa would have fucking loved Sharknado, and it makes me sad that he never got to experience it. But maybe he did somewhere. I don't know. Maybe God's got it on fucking. maybe God's got Sci-Fi Channel up there. Who knows?
He's got 8K discs up there.
He's got 8K discs. Grandpa puts on the DVD of the 8K disc. He's like, I can't see the difference. That's how that would go. But anyway, yeah. So next week is the main event: Freddy versus Jason
Showdown.
Finally, after all these years, 2 years.
Yep.
After many setbacks, it is time. It is time. But that'll be next week. We'll talk about it. I'm going to try to get back to a regularly weekly schedule.
Yeah.
Might run into a problem on the 22nd, though. Excuse me. So, are you off next Monday?
No idea.
Okay, because that's Martin Luther King Jr. Day, so that's a holiday for me.
Probably not.
Okay. Well, either way, we should be able to record that day. 22nd, I'm going to Alamo Draft House to see Audition. If you get off at 4, I could probably make. Let me see. Hold on. Let me see. Actually, or if you just take the day off. Hold on. It's at 7:30. Okay. If you get off at 4, I can probably still make that, and we can still record. Cool. Probably. So
we'll just pick a short movie.
Well, that's gonna be. Let me see the 20. So next week is Freddy vs. Jason. It's gonna be Nightmare on Elm Street remake.
Oh, we can just shit on that for like 20 minutes and be done.
Honestly. So yeah, I'll just be watching the clock the whole time. But yeah, I'm gonna go see Audition at Alamo Draft House, and then the next day I'm gonna see Galaxy Quest at Alamo Draft House. A true double feature, a cursed double feature if there ever was one.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'll be fun. And yeah, stay safe out there. COVID's on the rise again, apparently.
Yep.
Got vaccinated, new vaccine, updated vaccine. It's like a fucking flu shot. I don't know, but I'm not taking that risk. I don't think I can die from the flu. I might die from COVID though, so I'm not taking that risk. So I did that. I'd advise you to do the same. I don't really care. I mean, you do you. We could use a thinning of the population if I'm being honest, but. Not
if you listen to our podcast.
Not to be too nihilistic here.
You're safe if you listen to us.
Not to be too Yeah, we'll protect you from coronavirus. Little did you know that our words have antibodies that you need.
Goblin magic.
Keep listening. Or get vaccinated. One of the two if you stop listening. But yeah. So, stay safe out there. Try not to get sick. And if you do get sick, unfortunately, the government doesn't care about you anymore, so they're not going to give you any paid time off if you get COVID. So, hope you saved up those vacation days. I know I have, but yeah. So, stay safe out there. It's a crazy world. Watch horror movies. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on wherever YouTube, wherever the fuck you listen to us. I don't know. Follow us there. Show us to your friends if you feel like it.
Yeah. Even if it's just to be like, listen to these dumbasses.
Yeah, listen to these people be wrong.
I mean, if people will sit there and watch those fucking Dracula videos you show me, I know y'all can listen to us.
Okay, but those Dracula flow videos are funny. Where else are you gonna get that? Where else are you gonna get a man saying, gulping sea monkeys by the gallon, my tummy feel crazy? Where else are you going to get that? Where else are you going to get the Clock 34 shivered his timbers? Where else are you going to get face pressed up against that monkey sniffing for dear life? You cannot get that anywhere else.
No.
What a king. King shit, man. Absolutely. He is him.
That shit ain't nothing to him.
This shit ain't nothing to him. Oh my god. Anyway, so yeah, just stay safe out there. Listen to us if you want. I don't know. Follow us on Facebook, all that good shit. Freddy vs. Jason, finally.
Woo!
So get some sleep tonight. That's it. Just get some sleep
Yeah.
tonight.
Get some sleep.
All right. Bye, everybody. Don't forget to
Bye.
take your vitamins. Don't forget to eat your vegetables and pet your cats.
Yep.
We'll see you on the next one.
Yay.
Bye.
Bye.